Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. I intimated in a video yesterday that it looked like there were falling numbers in the SNP. It was based on some polling data they did, and then they let slip that it was like, it was 18% of something. I just sort of did a mental gymnastics. And I came up with a figure that they've only got 64,000 members. Well, the SNP membership has plunged in a decade after 65,000 members abandoned the party. Now, given this figure, it means that there are only 60,000 members left, which, when I said 64,000 off the top of my head, wasn't a bad guess at all. But yeah, 60,000. They were 135,000. Or that was the claim at the time of Peter Murrell's start of his trouble, shall we say, then fell. We knew it had got down to about 74,000. But it seems now that it's fallen even further. Another 15,000 have abandoned the party in 2 years. Keep this up, lads. Another couple of years, by the time you get to the election, you probably only have 45,000 people left in the entire party. Spread that over Scotland and you ain't going to get too many votes, I think. The party has been hemorrhaging paid up supporters ever since, really, Operation Branch Form has been announced. Now, that's been going on for several years now. So, it is a long-term trickle. It's not a torrent, but it is a trickle, but it's constant all the time. It's people dying or people coming to the end of their pay period and thinking, I shan't bother anymore. Or it's people actively leaving and going to other parties. Now, the money that they're getting, because obviously they're losing a lot of money from Parliament because they're losing the short money. Nobody in business, there's no corporate sponsorship anymore, very little corporate sponsorship. Their biggest income last year came from bequests, i.e. dead people leaving things in their will. And of course, the other big source is membership fees. But if you're losing your membership, that's a lot of money gone. Now, they did report in the last published accounts, oh, look, we've got money. But they did so because they basically raided the local office and said, give us the cash. That offset a 600,000, no relation, cash flow, deficit. And they actually published a slight profit. Oh, look, we're capable, we're float, we're above the line and we're positive in value. We are functioning as a party. So we're not bankrupt or anything. We don't need to go into administration. But of course, that was ended there when they'd done the snatch for the cash. But then they ran an entire electoral campaign, and that came out of the funds. This year, it means that when this year's this year's published accounts come, they're going to have all that expense, but nothing coming in. This means they're insolvent. It only takes one person who's owed money to take them to court because they can't pay and claim that they're insolvent. And at that point, they cease to be a party. The courts have no option but to dissolve it. And that's the end of the SNP. And the thing is, if that happens, it means every SNP member is an independent. And at that point, the next biggest party has to form the government. And at the moment, that's the Tories. If somebody goes in the next sort of 15, 16 months and does it, you could end up with a Tory government in Scotland, in Holyrood. Please, somebody go. But there is no way back. Branches get less money because they've got fewer people. There's, like I say, there's nothing coming in. And now because the branches have less money, it means that the SNP hierarchy can't go to the branches and snatch that money into central funds because it isn't there. And what the MSPs have been told is that from next month, instead of paying 15% of their salaries into central funds, they have to pay 20%. And, a lot of them are not happy about that. The MPs as well, down in Westminster, are going to have to pay 20% instead of 15%. It's a lot of money for some of these people, and they really, again, aren't happy. But what do you do? Where do you go? Apparently, there's a secret financial report that's been semi-leaked. It was written by the Treasurer, Stuart MacDonald, and obtained sneakily, but it's been obtained. And it's painting a stark picture of the party and its struggles for survival. Falling membership, they say within this report, is their most significant challenge. And they say that unless they can at least add another 10,000 people to the party roll, the chances are they're going to go into administration before the 2026 election. If you look, they're actually trying to back out of leases. They're getting rid of cars. They're firing staff because they've got no money. Oh dear, what a shame. It's averaging a loss of 4,000 members a year since 2023. A continuation of that trend. I mean, it's likely we'll only have, only going to have 45,000 by the end of this parliament. And the accounts returned a surplus of 660,000. That's what I'll say on that previous year's accounts, which is now gone. Like I say, I mentioned that there with the funding for the election. And it said that from February, they are going to have to pay a lot more in terms of paying for salaries because of the cost. That's not from February, sorry, from April. Those that they employ, of course, the salary costs are going up because of Rachel Reeves' increase in national insurance. And they don't know how to deal with that because it's going to cost them a lot more. They're going to have to get rid of staff. They can't put their prices up. They don't sell anything. They rely on donation funding. So more staff are going to go redundant, some senior. What a shame, eh? What an absolute shame. If this party ended so ignominiously by sliding back into the slime whence it came, bankrupt, poverty-stricken, and with no success whatsoever, nothing to show for nearly 100 years of SNP existence, and with independence as far away today as it ever was. They will have a legacy, of course. The poverty, the misery, the failing economy, the destroyed NHS, the schools pumping out stupid children because they can't be given an education, and a whole country laid wrecked, ruined and destitute because of one party and their obsession with an unachievable dream. A dream that will never happen now. Rejoice, Scotland. The nightmare will soon be over. And you can start again, rebuild like a phoenix from the flames. Thanks very much. Take care and goodbye.